Yeah, you're all right. There you
Can
go.
you see?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Great. Okay. Right, here we go.
oh, I'll tell you what I have got, what I might do to start with.
Oil.
Peppermint oil. I've seen this little like health hack.
Yeah.
I'm sure you might have done this before. In the hands, like this.
Yeah. Nice.
It's so good.
Oh, let
Literally.
me try some.
Give it a go.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
You don't need a lot. You probably need to just do that with a lot of vinegar.
Oh yeah.
That's it then.
Well,
Don't rub it on your face though, because your face will be burning. Don't
No,
do
that's
that.
right.
Yeah, just...
Oh my god.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's really good, and with my cold.
It just resets you like straight away.
Great.
Good before the gym or whatever.
And there's tissues here if you need them. There's your
Yeah,
tea
or if
and
I've had a
water.
traumatic trade. It's okay, everything's fine.
How's that chair for you?
Yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Yeah? Because
good.
I was saying to them, Tracy, I didn't know the chair would be comfortable enough, but like you say, you can
No,
always...
this is nice. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's good, isn't
Yeah, I
it?
like it. Yeah,
Lovely
really.
room.
Yeah, lovely room.
She's
Yeah.
done a lot of hard work. So,
Okay.
right, let's start. I'm sorry about last week.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I literally couldn't
I think it's
speak.
probably better to be fair because I've finished the month now and started a new month.
Nice.
We've got more to talk about.
Come on, right. I'm so excited because I've listened to that whole audio book.
Trading in the Zone. Mark
Yes.
Douglas. You listened to all of it?
All of it.
Wow. Yeah. What
Yeah.
did you think?
Well, it just inspired me with my coaching for you.
Yes.
Because I thought this is what, in a way, I feel as though I should have listened to it before now, but I feel as though what it's got for you is some really relevant stuff there, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there's a lot, and I've done screenshots of all the bits
Yeah.
that I feel are pertinent, so
Yes.
we can check in with those if you want. But tell me about your month, where you're at, what's going on.
Good. Obviously, Lanzarote.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to trade when I went away to Lanzarote, but I thought it was just a really relaxed time. I was relaxed. I was with my dad, and I was waking early in the mornings, and I just thought I was just going to go for it. And then I didn't lose a trade the whole time I was away. I had like 6 winning trades, one after another.
Right.
And I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I think it was just like the universe showing me, look, you know, if your mind's right and you're in the right place, cultivate that winning attitude, which I learned so much on that holiday. I was literally waking up, because I think what I was struggling with before, or not struggling with, but just, what I needed to work on was adjusting to the time of waking up, because I wasn't adjusted to that time.
Right.
I don't normally get up at that time, so I was struggling with that, and I was like, because I used to trade the new strategy in the night, which that wasn't working. We worked out that wasn't working. So then we just started waking up so I set an alarm for 5:45 now. It was 6 and then 6:30 go. Worked out 5:45 is a nice time to wake up to potentially catch a move. Any earlier than that, it's not worth it because spreads are quite wide. And it's not really ideal. So yeah, I think that's one of the main things. There's loads of things that I've learned, but I think that's one really positive thing that's come from it is my sleep pattern is on, and I feel in tune with the markets. Like I'm excited to go to bed early and to wake up early. But then also what's been happening is, I don't know if we spoke about this last time, but I would say, I'm only really thinking about this now. I have recorded it, but I think I say if you was a fly on the wall watching me trade in the mornings, the biggest thing you would notice is I wake up and then go back to sleep. So I wake up, and at first I thought, I don't feel, am I a very professional person for doing this? And I'm like, of course I fucking am. Like it's perfect. It's perfect. Why the fuck would I want to be awake looking at a trade?
Yeah.
At 6 in the morning. I want to be asleep at that time, catching up on some sleep, unless I've got to get up to do stuff. So I'll wake up, analyse the markets. If there is a trade, sometimes I'll just snooze if there's not a trade, like 5-minute snoozes, just manually really. I don't have a long, so I wake up. I've trained my mind to just wake up. I'll have a snooze. I have the iPad next to the bed, so I'll be asleep and then I'll awake and I'll snooze, because I do that anyway. My sleep pattern is not I wouldn't say great. I feel like I've been in training for this because I just don't sleep that great anyway. I never have to. I always wake up.
Right.
I would say I wake up a good 10, 15 times in the night anyway.
Right.
I wake up, go back to sleep, wake up, go back to sleep. Whereas I feel like this is a potential superpower for me with the trading, because I have the ability to just wake up, go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep. And in the mornings, wake up, I set the iPad up, look at my phone, and also analyse how I'm feeling. Like if I'm feeling really tired and a bit groggy, that also sways my decision on how I trade, or if I even trade at all.
Nice. So you're really self-aware.
Self-aware.
So when you're groggy, do you have a rule that you're not trading at that point?
If I'm really groggy, like there's only been one or two, because I've been trying to take a trade every day, like we said, take a trade every day, build the probabilities,
that's the big
work
thing.
on the strategy, perfect the strategy, refine the strategy. So that's just iPad on, snooze, take a trade, whatever, and wake up in a profit. That's what I did when I was on holiday. That's pretty much what I did. I woke up, put a trade on, I set the stop loss, set the take profit, went back to sleep, woke up in profit. Either closed the trade or just woke up, had breakfast, and then it just hit take profit pretty much every day.
Brilliant.
So I woke up with money, pretty much. Gone to sleep, took a trade, gone to sleep, woke up in money. Woke up, took a trade. That is the pattern of behaviour that I've been doing.
And was that because 5:45 here is 7:45 there, isn't it? Are they now?
No, it's exactly the same time.
Oh, is it? So that's okay.
Yeah, straight down, isn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah. I never understand time zones, but anyway.
Greenwich Mean Time. Think of the Greenwich. Have you ever been to Greenwich in London?
Yeah, I have. So it's
the line, isn't there?
Yeah, that's it.
It goes straight down and then everything goes off of that.
That's it.
Yeah.
And,
But the Canary Islands is straight down, pretty much. It's pretty much the Greenwich Mean Line. Pretty much goes. It's a bit to the.
I think it's because I'm from New Zealand, so it's like
You're
12
way
hours
back.
and things. Yeah. So thinking of such, so that is kind of very exciting for you.
Really
So
exciting.
where did that? I really like to hear. Now I can totally hear parts of it. And how was it with expanding your probabilities?
Good. It's good. It's good looking back at my P&L, profit and loss on my trading platform MT5. It's quite clear to see that the win rate is 50-50.
Brilliant.
And potentially will be better than 50-50, because there's some trades that I move to break even, where that's one rule that I've decided I'm not moving to break even. Not on these little intraday trades. I'm potentially going to move to break even on a big one. You know, we talked about letting some run.
Yes, yeah.
And what I'm thinking of having in a rule of there's obviously my box strategy, that's that.
Yeah.
And then I have a rule of taking trades straight off of weekly highs and weekly lows, because there's always a bounce. Not always, but I would say a good 70-80% of the time, it bounces off of these weekly highs and weekly lows. And I have my levels on, you've seen my charts. There's levels, and it's like boundaries to work towards, you know, so that's my chart, weekly high, weekly low. When it gets to that point, there's a high probability of a reversal. So on them trades, I'm thinking I'm potentially move to break even and let them run. Like there was a trade yesterday that if I'd have done that and let it run, that would have been a really profitable trade, like 2-3% maybe.
So I wonder why you didn't let it run. Is it because it's not within your rules that you set?
I'd already took a trade. I'd already taken a trade.
Right.
So I have a rule of only one trade a day, so I'd already took a trade. So yeah, I probably should have waited. I did take a trade and made some money, but if I'd have just waited for that one and been a bit more confident, I could have had that trade. I think there's a lot of what's going on behind the scenes is I build up money and then I'm looking after it, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I'm not apprehensive of, when I start to get some profits, I don't want to take trades, even though I am doing, and I feel like I need to, just to get the probabilities on point.
Okay.
At this point anyway, because I'm trying to do something else, I'm trying to pass this evaluation phase, so I need to keep going.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to just, if this was in a real account and it was money in there, I've got 10 grand this month, I would probably take that and do something with it and then leave till the next month. But I'm not at that point. It's not a real account. I'm trying to pass an evaluation phase, so keep going. So
is there any
I had that conversation this morning with Marco on the call, and I get what he was saying. He was like, give yourself those wins, but I think a win for me is knowing that the strategy's working and keeping moving forwards and perfecting it, rather than an actual win and taking money, because we're not at that point yet. There's not a real account, I can't take money out of it. But whereas if it was a real account, I would take that money,
right,
spend it, do something with it anyway, take it out, save it,
or you
invest
could
it.
save it.
I'd do something with it and then probably wait till the next month, or have a week off. Whereas I don't want to do that at the moment, because I don't feel like I need a week off. I don't feel like I need any time off. I feel like I just want to keep going.
So from what I understand, from what I've listened to, the big things that we need to check in with our risk, and probabilities, like obviously the more you trade, you know, it's like the casino analogy he says. They don't like just choose whether or not that one blackjack game is the one that they're going to win on or whatever. That what they do is they do continuity of numbers. And I'm just thinking about, but also there was something that he said, he left it right till the end to say it, about reducing risk by taking profit, and then reducing the risk as you, so that like what you're doing mentally is that you've got your, so you go in, say like we'll say we'll just say £1,000, right? So you've put in £1,000 on a trade. I don't understand all the technical stuff then, so you're just going to have to bear with me. But what I'm understanding is that what he said was that as it starts to flip or whatever, what he does is he takes a third at a time out. So that when it's in profit, he takes it so that what he's still got an interest in the trade, but what it means is that so he can sit and watch comfortably, so that he sees
like a risk-free opportunity, is what he says.
Yeah, well, what he says, so basically as it starts to change, once the ticks, he says, is when it comes up on the ticks, and he said so he might put it in, and then after 2 or 3 ticks, he might take a third out.
Yes.
And then what he does is he stores that, and then on the next one he does, when there's another 3 ticks down, he takes another third out, and then leaves the rest in, so that actually his risk is reduced, so he's more comfortable and more confident about his management of it. So can you talk me through where that sits with you?
I have used that before. On this strategy in particular, the box strategy, it's very volatile, very quick moves, and it's not, me personally, I don't think it's a good idea with this strategy, purely because the moves are so fast. Whereas if it was a swing trade, or even just a longer trade, and I do some of that, I don't do any swing trading, but say these weekly trades, or if, you know, like we said, daily, one day where I decide to leave one running, I may use it on that, or move to break even, and then, I mean, I've tried it, and it's something that, I'm not that much of a fan of it, to be honest. I don't know why. I'd rather just either win or lose. I'd rather just win or lose.
Cool. Okay, so that's a good understanding I've got here.
I know some people do it. I think it just complicates things a little bit more. And then obviously, if it was a winner and you took money out, it would have been less.
Yeah. So and then, so can I just? Yeah, it would definitely be.
I think that's just. I know guys that do that.
Yeah, but they're on the longer. I'll put my hand to my
eyes. If it was a swing trade, definitely do that. I would say definitely do that, because if you were running it over a week or so, you know, you could take profits. You could even add to it, and you know, some people will take a position, say a certain size, say they take a position of 10 lots, and they're trying to swing it, and then it becomes in profit. They could leave that trade on for say a week, but then they could intraday trade the same position.
Right, okay. Just
long, so as this position's going long, I'm just going to add a couple more positions, take some out and do it that way. Leave a position on, but then trade little positions in between.
Right.
I kind of like the idea of that. But like I said, I'm trying not to complicate things too much at the minute, because I like this strategy. It's quick, simple, and it's working.
So let's talk about where you're at the end of the month. So are you in profit?
Last month, no. reason being is we had a couple of there weren't mistakes. Something that happened to me, which have you heard of slippage?
No.
There was a slippage trade where I left it on around noon, which I don't normally do this, but I was in profit.
Yeah.
And it didn't quite take the profit, so I got a bit emotional about it and I was a bit pissed off. And I didn't over risk or move stops or anything like that. I just decided to leave it on. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave this trade on because it was obviously only trade GBP AUD.
Yeah.
There was some UK, I think it was PMIs. I think it was
Okay.
PMIs coming out, and there was like the state of the UK economy. I thought we're just going to get a lower print, which would have sent it lower, which would have sent my pair lower. Obviously, can't predict these things, but I thought I'm just going to chance it. And it didn't, and it was a very thin volume day, which we've discussed this in depth on the course. And I've never had this happen before. I've had some slippage before. Slippage is where the market moves so fast in a certain direction that the broker can't fill the price at your stop level, and sometimes it gets filled a little bit more. And say my stop was like 0.5%, it gets filled at like 0.6 or something. Whereas this was just some crazy slippage, and instead of me losing 0.5%, it was nearly 2% on one trade, which wasn't my fault.
No.
Wasn't my fault. I could show you the trade. Like the stop loss was
why
set.
did you get emotional about it?
What initially? Firstly,
Yeah.
because it's just because it didn't. I could show you the trade. I put the trade on. Same. I put the trade on and I went to sleep, and then I woke up, and it hadn't took profit. It literally went to the price. I'm not joking. It went to the price and just didn't take it just because of spread. So obviously spread is obviously what the broker makes out of the trade. So say my trade is 20 pips, and then there was 3 pips spread. If my trade gets to 20 pips, and my take profit was 20 pips, it won't take it because the spread I needed to allow for spread.
Right. Okay.
And I'd allowed for spread. Obviously, I just wanted it just needed to move a bit further, and it didn't. And then it come back up, and I'm like, bitch. Like, I thought, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to leave it on rather than close it.
Oh, let's talk about it in a moment.
So I thought, fuck it, I'll just leave it on. Which I have done in the past, and I've had good results, but I won't be doing this again, purely because of this slippage. But Marco says, and a few other people said that they've only ever had it happen like 2 or 3 times in like 10 years.
Right, okay.
It's one of these things that doesn't happen very often at all.
So, what is brilliant about it? What was brilliant about you having that slippage that they only experience one in every 10 years?
It's a learning curve.
Brilliant, yeah.
And that's what I treated it as. I treated it as it straight away.
Yeah.
I treated it as that straight away, but obviously it took me a while to digest it, maybe a day or two. Probably, I think just a day. I actually didn't trade the next day just because I was still a bit pissed off about it. And then if I had have traded the next day, say if that trade had won, I would have traded the next day, and then that one would have been a winner. You know, so instead of, you know, if that trade had actually, these are the probabilities, and this is the fuckery of the market, like, and you have to take it on the chin. If that had have took profit, I'd have been, okay, great, on to the next, and I would have took that trade the next day, and that would have been a winner, and it would have been, I would have been 2% right there, but instead, didn't take profit, I left the trade on, slippage 2%, and then I didn't take the trade the next day, so I'm like,
and why didn't you take the trade next day, really? Why didn't you?
because I was a bit drained from this whole slippage situation. It did sort of piss me off, and like I just felt a bit. It was a bit of a hit to take, to be honest, because I've never had it happen before. Because what had actually happened is I built up about 2% from all of the holiday trades. Like I had a winning streak, and then that once. So what actually happened is I had a winning streak. But at that point, I was only risking 0.25, you know, because the account was in a bit of drawdown. I explained this. I thought I'm going to lower the risk, just so I don't breach the account, so, which was fine and a good thing to do, positive thing. So I did that, and then all of a sudden I started having a winning streak. So I thought, and this was always the plan. So 0.25%, had a winning streak while I was on holiday, great. Built some confidence, built some wins. I'm going to up it to 0.5%. And I was at the time, I had a word with myself. A mental word. Actually, I did a video about it. I said, look, I accept the probability that I'm probably going to have a couple of losses now, and will eat into these profits that I've made quite ferociously, because it's bigger. You know, 0.25 to 0.5,
Yeah,
you know,
double.
I was only making 0.5% on each trade, and now you know you get it right. So then I had a couple of losses, and then I had the fucking slippage trade. So I was just like, damn, and that. So going back to your previous question about why it pissed me off so much is because it just wiped out all my profits for the month. And I was aware of it, and I'd accepted the risk. It just pissed me off a little bit, so I decided not to trade just because I needed a break. I just needed a mental break, only for one day, and then it was the weekend. It was on a Friday. So, but that being said, and I've documented it, journaled it, how I can improve from that. Like moving forwards, if that ever happens again, I know to just carry on. Like the next day, I know to just carry on. I need to brush it aside and carry on. And I feel like that will come in time. But you got to know when you need a break, and I did need a break. I needed that break. I was just pissed off. I just didn't want to trade the next day, even though I should have done. Because if I had traded, I would have got 1% straight back there
So
the next day, and then it would soften the blow of that. I was like,
do you mind if I go into that moment, because I think that's the real telling bit. And having listened to this, one of the things is it's easy for me to sit here. I really acknowledge that. It's so easy for me to sit here and say, oh, why don't you rest, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? But it's that mindset that I'm hearing that is what I hear that you're doing is you're mastering and you're practicing your skills. It's like, you know, saying I'm going to run 5 miles by the end of the month, and it's doing that work every day towards it. And it sounds like you are so much more down the line at being consistent than you were when I first met you.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering about this objectiveness that is still not, it's that confidence, you know, like he says about an athlete. When an athlete, like when Mo Farah goes to the starting blocks on any race, he's at his pinnacle. He's got a confidence, but his confidence, I mean, it's about, the difficulty is the emotion, isn't it? The emotion came in and actually halted your probability of winning again. So that emotional disruption, it's like a disruption. Like Marco says, the slippages are once in a lifetime, and you had it. And I always think things are sent divinely anyway.
Yes.
And that was sent
awesome.
to...
Me too. Yeah, I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. I'm happy that it happened now.
Yeah.
And not on real funds. Imagine on £1 million account, I've never had that happen before. And I just lose like 2%. That really pissed me off.
That would be a struggle, wouldn't it? So that would be hideous. So when you're kind of like in that flow state, when you're in the flow state and it's all going well, and there's an emotional payoff, isn't there? I'm just wondering about that. And slippage was a 1 in a million chance.
It doesn't happen very often.
Probabilities wise, but actually ultimately, it's that thing of like you've got a coin and you toss it 50 times, and it comes up heads every time. Even on the 51st time, it's still only a 50-50 chance. It's that mindset of like, it's almost like, it's a really hard thing, isn't it, Dean, to bring your mindset into full alignment of acceptance. I think you're getting there. Where do you feel that you are?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like this month, I'm already, just this week, I'm already 2.5% up on the month already.
Brilliant.
Just because I'm just keep going forwards with it. I've actually decided not to trade today, even though if I had traded today, that would have been profitable. The only reason I decided not to trade today is because I've had a busy morning, and I'm going to London at the weekend, and then I'm going to Mexico on Sunday, so I decided not to trade. And we were talking about this morning actually on the call, and the probabilities doesn't mean that I have to trade every day, because not every day is a trading day. I don't have to trade every day.
No.
The probabilities will still play out.
Yeah.
If anything, it's picking and choosing the right days to trade.
Yeah.
Like some days, I feel like there is this strategy in particular, my strategy. I feel like there is a trade pretty much every day. You just have to catch it, whichever time it is. There will, but obviously some days you have to work around news and it's a bit more tricky, but obviously I'm working that out. It's like yesterday, there wasn't a trade in the morning, not at my usual time, and then I was asleep when there probably was a setup, but then there was another chance of my weekly setup, which I didn't take, but I just did a little scalp trade into it because I knew it was going to hit this weekly level. It was there. It was just going to tap it and then reverse, which it did. But instead of me waiting for the tap and then get the big trade, I just traded the pre-test, which it was pretty cool to be fair. It's a pretty cool trade to be fair. I just grabbed a few pips and got out.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that to be fair, which I may use that again. You know, it was almost like I got a free go because I didn't get my usual setup in the morning, so I'm like, I can just freestyle this and just try something a little bit different, and it worked. Yeah, so I feel very in sync with the pair. I feel because it is me. I do look at the markets in a very like collective consciousness way, in almost like a spiritual thing, because it's so many people. I know there's a lot of robots and like algorithms and stuff, which is making it move very fast these days, high frequency robots and stuff, but you know, it still is people have made the robots, people are still trading, and it is a collective consciousness of everybody, especially this pair. You know, it's the British pound, Australian dollar, yeah, I feel very in tune with it, but definitely this week anyway. Obviously what I've said that was going to happen did happen. And then I see these all the time. It's like because I watch it a lot. I don't watch it all the time, but when I see it approaching to a level, I'm like, yeah, it's going to do that from there, and it does. Like there's 3-4 times yesterday that when I predicted what was going to happen, just by looking at it, it's probably going to bounce from that. Yes, it did. It's probably going to bounce from that. Yes, it did. So there's chances all the time. That's why I feel like I just need to. I don't know. I feel like I do need to limit myself just to one trade a day, but. Just while I'm doing this, but I feel like something I want to do, which is probably going to be another project, so I don't want to expel too much energy on it at the minute. I'm thinking about potentially just seeing what I can do, like, and just go for it, as in like unlimited.
Yeah.
Obviously, manage risk.
Yeah.
Manage risk, but just see what I can do within a day, as in like 3, 4, 5 trades. Just manage risk because there's certain points I can just pick, and obviously just as like a. Just as like a sporty, healthy sort of like competitive thing with myself.
So because he talks about intuitive now.
Yeah, that's it.
Saying,
intuitive, yeah.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at the minute.
Everything you're saying now reminds me of where you were a year ago, wasn't it? And like you said that and what you'd done was you'd had your break and then you were.
Yeah.
And I think what's exciting is that you're at that intuitive phase where. What's interesting is that you are observing that your intuitions on trades, like you haven't taken the trade today or whatever, but it would have been in profit if you'd have taken it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where that sits in your confidence level. So where is your confidence right now? Because
I would say I've been marking my trades. I can show you some. I've been marking my trades. Obviously, because I met this guy Simon, the mathematician guy.
Oh yes,
he told me to mark down my confidence levels and my form levels.
Lovely.
Just on each trade. So I kind of do it after, but then I'll be trying to be honest with myself. You know where I was at with it, because I can do the confidence level before, but then form is obviously after, because it's the whole trade, like how I managed it, you know, everything. But I feel like overall at the moment, I feel like confidence level out of 5, I would say like 4.5 out of 5.
Brilliant.
I wouldn't say 5 out of 5 because I don't want to be too cocky, but then also, why not be cocky and just manage risk?
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's
I think
a tricky one. I just don't want to be too cocky because I know anything can happen.
And you are dealing with millions of probabilities at any one time.
Yeah, so anything can happen. So I'm not being too cocky with it, but it's also very good to have confidence in this game. I feel you have to be confident.
Absolutely, and what's lovely is to hear it's the confidence to get back on the wagon. It's kind of like where when you do your confidence schedule.
Yeah.
What I want to also ask is the whereas in the, because the confidence, how dented is your confidence when it goes wrong? And the slippage is completely different. It's a one in a lifetime. I mean, the probability is you could maybe get another slippage.
Oh yeah, definitely likely, yeah.
But where does your confidence? What happens with your confidence when you have like a bum trade?
It's just obviously what it does to your emotions. Is obviously a winning trade and a losing trade. They obviously make the brain produce different chemicals. And I've been quite vocal about this, and we've spoke about this, and I'm aware of it, which is the first thing. Great to be able to change it. So all I'm trying to do is just treat them all the same. And I feel I'm getting there. Like these wins this week. I think the first win this week, I was like, yeah, great win, and I actually had a shit day, to be fair. I don't know, I just felt a bit down.
In your day today, in your actual day? Yeah,
just in my actual day, and it wasn't anything to do with the trade or whatever, because it was actually a win. And sometimes when I get a win, I feel like I have a good day. And I actually looked at that as a positive. I'm like, well, I've had a win, but I actually feel a bit crap today. So, it's not trading, I'm not living for that, whereas some people are, and I have been in the past, and you're trying to feed that brain chemical reaction, and I feel like it was almost like, not a turning point, but it was a very big realisation of like, I am doing what I said I was going to do, as in to get the brain to try and reach like an equilibrium, which is a funny thing, isn't it? People with bipolar are not balanced, are they? People that trade currency markets are not balanced, but you need to try and be. I think these markets can probably make you a bit bipolar, because you get big ups and big downs from it, and I've had all that. I've had the bigs up and I've had the big downs, and it's to just try and level it out, and that's what I've been trying to do with everything. And I think, I feel. What was the question?
No. Actually, you've answered me, but what you've done is you brought up something else that I'd like to check in with you about. So it was about confidence, and how how it's dented, how much it's dented when you have a loss. But you were talking about Monday being a day where you had a crap day. And then your realisation was that that's a wonderful realisation, Dean.
Yes.
That you did well on your trade, but you had a crap day. So I'm wondering.
Let me just say something. Hold that thought. It just made me think of another book that I've listened to. I listened to another book while I was away called Market Wizards. I've never listened to it before. I know it's quite a popular book in the trading community. I just never listened to it. So I listened to it. I think I listened to it twice actually since the holiday. But there's a guy in there, Ed Seykota, which I'd heard of him, and I kind of like him and his approach. And there's this guy. It's basically the book. The book is the guy that's wrote the book. He interviews these people, but that's what the book is. The book is actually him interviewing word for word.
Yeah.
And he even does the accent of he almost does the accent of the trader, and then he's like talking to himself almost as he's reading the book. It's the same guy. Really interesting actually. Ed Seykota says he asks him this question, like, how do you deal with the pain of losing, or what does the pain of losing mean to you? And he says, I'll try and get it, I can't think of it word for word, but basically he says the pain of losing is right up there with the pain of winning, and also the joy also up there with the joy of losing. The joy of winning is also up there with the pain of winning, and then the pain of losing is also up there with the joy of losing, and then also it's up there with the pain of not participating. Which I felt all of these emotions, and it kind of it was a big realization for me. I feel like that section, Ed Seykota's section, really helped me. And I almost, if I would liken myself to anyone in that book, I would say I'm quite similar to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's developed some computerized trading systems, but his mindset is very similar, I feel. And just the vibe that I got from, obviously I don't know this guy, but then I've researched him a little bit, and he is a very interesting guy, and also probably one of the most successful traders of all time. So, and like I related with him, and I related with him 100%. Obviously some other guys, well, Paul Tudor Jones as well, he's a little bit different, but I related with that. And you know, it's about like cutting losses, and it's about probabilities, and you know, you cannot predict these things other than, you know, trends. Like you can see some things in a trend and just follow that trend, you know, and just manage risk. But yeah, that was the bit that I was talking about, the pain of losing and the pain of winning.
Yeah.
And the joy of losing and the joy of winning and the joy of not participating and the pain of not participating. Like today, I feel a little bit of pain for not participating because I would have had a win. My setup was there this morning. I didn't take it. I wasn't looking at it, but I've obviously observed it at about 10 a.m. I had a look at it and there was a trade this morning, a really good trade. But I didn't miss it. I just didn't take it because I said I wasn't going to trade today. I wasn't going to trade today, but then that pisses me off on some level, the same as having a loss.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
But then also, you know, maybe, I don't know, this is the real like nitty gritty stuff here. I would say also, if I had have took that and had a win, I would also probably feel a bit apprehensive for the next trade because that potentially is going to be a loser, because the probabilities of win, there's going to be a loss at some point. So I almost sense it and maybe even attract it. I don't know. This is really deep. This is deep in my mind.
No, I totally hear you.
This is deep in my mind.
Right, so I'm glad that you've identified that.
Yeah, because you know, have a winning streak and then the losers are going to come at some point. That's why, you know, going back to the 0.25% earlier in November, I'd mentally accepted upping the risk of 0.5% after a winning streak, I'm potentially going to lose now, which was hard to accept. And that is actually what happened. I had 3 losers in a row, but then I had 3 winners in a row at 0.5%, which brought me back up. And then I was about kind of break even. I had some profits then. And then I had the fucking slippage trade and took me back to break even. And then I just, I got over it, but it was just a bit annoying. But if it wasn't for that slippage trade, I would have finished the month last month in profit.
Brilliant.
And if I had have took 0.5% from the beginning, it would have been a lot of profit. So I know what potential is there, and fuck what anyone else thinks. I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. Where we look at it, oh, you've not made profit, I don't care. I feel that and I sense that, I don't give a shit because I know that the framework's there to make profits, and I'm learning and adapting and looking at I'm not talking about the way that I've traded, I'm just talking about the risk management. The risk management, if I had have just, it was what it was, but if I had have 0.5% from the beginning all the way, even with the slippage trade, I kind of worked it out to probably be about 3 or 4%.
So are you going in this month with 0.5%?
Yeah, I'm just keep sticking with that.
Okay.
I'm sticking with that, whether I breach the account or not. I'm just going to stick with that all the way through, and I've accepted the risk of potentially breaching the account, which I think it's unlikely at the moment. I was at that point where I think that's why I lowered it, but because I'm going forward, I think it's unlikely to breach the account now. I want to, obviously one of my goals is to pass the evaluation by January, which is what we said, didn't we?
So I just can I check in with you here?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I'm hearing, first of all, is the expectation that you have of loss. Now I know that you so there's an expectation. So there's a difference between expecting something and understanding it.
Yeah.
So when you are winning, you are immediately expecting loss. And I wonder how helpful that is to you. So what I'm hearing for you is that you are literally saying, I've won today, tomorrow I'm going to lose. I've won today, tomorrow I'm going to lose. And I wonder, that conflicting mindset is actually, I wonder how that is actually really playing out in your probability score. So it's kind of like almost objectifying or objectively observing your month, maybe on a different, maybe for you, Dean, it needs to be maybe language different or something different in order to, it's almost like the law of attraction. Jesus, you literally were saying, I'm going to lose, I'm winning, look, I'm going to lose. And it's almost
I'm
like...
not really saying that. I'm not actually saying that.
But
What I've worked out is I
somewhere.
want to be a winner. And I say that to myself. And the days when I go to bed with that winning attitude, I wake up and win pretty much.
Excellent. So, what I wonder... Yeah, that's law of attraction. I'm really
I'm really like plugged into that. It's almost uncanny. It's almost like I feel like I'm dreaming sometimes. Like especially win after win after win after win. It's just like, and I just want to keep that. But then all of a sudden, after I've had a few wins, the loss vibe kicks in.
And that's right.
And
so
this is where I want to try and I just want to win. I know I can't win all the time, but I want it. Well.
Let's talk
keep
about
going
this.
with it, just keep going, potentially...
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah, go on. Go on, sorry.
What I'm hearing is this consistency in every aspect. You've got consistently really good system. You've set up your box, you've set up your risk now to 0.5%. You've got experience analysis, you have every tool. But one of the things that I'm hearing that you the consistency of approach is working for you. The consistency of intuition is working for you, and the consistency of disbelief in yourself is also working for you. So there's a disbelief that disconnects, and it's like a light switch. And what's happening is that he talks in this book, there are consistent traders who are consistently good. And I wonder, I have to not look at you while I'm doing this because I have to really focus on what I'm saying.
Yeah, go for it.
I wonder if you are thinking that you aren't good enough to be a consistent trader, because he talks about consistently excellent traders. Now, Dean, you are win, and the mindset, here comes the loss, will only attract a misjudgment. It will only attract, and also it's the acceptance of the loss that doesn't appear to be kind of like, it's almost like the loss needs to be behind you, not in front of you. So it's like when you're looking at something and you see the win coming towards you, which is very exciting, but what I hear and see you doing is placing your losses equally as forward, whereas a loss is, oh yeah, that was a loss, I can see those wins, so it's almost, oh yeah, that's a loss. So it's almost like where you're placing your losses is in the same place as you're placing your wins. But I do hear that you have a disbelief that you are a consistently good trader, and yet you are a consistently good trader, but it's the connection to that loss that is, maybe it feeds a need for you to fail. I don't know if you have to. The other thing that I just want to check in with you, and I know that I'm talking a lot now, but one of the things, and I feel compelled to talk, so one of the other things is that you said that you had a bad day on Monday, even though you got a win, which is brilliant. I think that's amazing. Thank you, universe. You've given him slippage and you've given him a bad day with a good day. But also I wonder, can I liken your success in your flooring business, which has provided you income to be able to do all of this, and it's provided you something rather, and the need for challenge, the need for change is very apparent in you.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you haven't seen or recognised what a bloody consistent trader you are now, and you've actually kind of almost got to mastery, but what you're doing is you're slowing that process right down, because once you became a master of your own business and the flooring, the challenge may have ebbed. Have I made any sense here?
Just on that last bit, I wasn't quite sure.
Right.
What do you mean by ebbed?
Ebbed, yeah, ebbed, it means like, you know, the
Ebbs and flows, ups and
yeah,
downs.
yeah, ups and downs, in and out. It's like interest in and out. So with your flooring business, you have an ebb and flow with it, because you know
There is ebb and flows with that. There is ebb and flows
That's
with that.
it,
Like you were
yeah.
saying, you know, look, you have quiet periods and you have busy periods, and you have quiet periods and you have busy periods, and I feel like that vibe is taken into the trading as well, I feel.
yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
So,
Or it's
well,
just, I
I'm
feel like it's
wondering
me
if-
though, it is me, and I feel like, but I'm constantly improving with everything,
Amazing.
and it's me that's doing it. Like, so just to talk about the flooring business for 2 seconds. Not that I want to expand that, because I already take a nice wage from it, and I don't really, you know, it's not my thing to. I don't want to expand that. I don't, but I take a nice little wage from it. But I get work because of who I am.
Yes.
It's because of me. It's because of my personality and my authenticity, like we said before. And just taking that extra time. Like, I'll message people at 10 at night. I said, look, I'm active, and then when people leave me reviews, they say like how good I was, you know, responsive and attentive and knowledgeable, and it's all purposefully done. It's not like, oh well, I've made this happen. I made it happen. I didn't used to be like this. I've obviously keep improving, and to the point where I'll bend over backwards for people to a point. You know, to a point, if I'm busy, I'm busy, you know, but if I've got time, I'm attentive to people. And I take that same consistent and, what's the word? Consistent and committed, consistent and committed attitude to getting what I want.
Brilliant. And so when you apply that to your trading, you have, since I've known you, what you are today, and you know, you have developed these systems, you have been committed, and you've been consistent at learning, analysing, and now you're at the bloody stage where you're like Mr. Intuitive. Yeah, that'll do that, and I'm going to do 1 day a week maybe, and like just flicking it here and there and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
And I wonder about that part of you where you are you know that loss is going to be there, but I know that the sun gets up every morning, and I'm not checking in whether or not it's doing it.
Yeah.
It's like the sun's coming up. I know.
Imagine if it didn't come up one day, you'd be a bit shocked.
We'll be dead.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of like, I always say to people, the world's not ending until the sun doesn't come up.
Exactly.
And then we'll know about it, goes all dark. So one of the things is that it's that whole thing of, in order to run down the road, which part of putting your shoes on do you consciously think about? You don't consciously think, you say, I'll get my shoes out, put them on. And then the next thing is you're thinking about running down the road. And then while you're running down the road, you think, oh God, you know, maybe I need to slow down or fast up, or I'm doing really well, and all that conversation goes on. But I'm wondering about where your loss is. It's almost like you're running down the road towards wins, but also then you're saying, well, today I'm pretty sure I've done the win roads, and I'm pretty sure I've worn out my shoes on that one, so I'm going to go down the loss road in order that I get a win. I wonder if you are demanding the losses from yourself in order to achieve the wins. I hadn't thought like that before.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And this is all subconscious.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And in an ideal world, yeah, I want to win all the time.
Yes, of course you do.
I think obviously with that law of attraction and the law of vibration and the people that I'm intertwined with in the group, you know, that's their attitude as well. And no disrespect to anyone in the group at all. I look up to a lot of people in there. But there is traders out there that just go on mad winning streaks and achieve like mad success. They do. I don't want to be one of them people.
You want to be?
Well, I just want this goal of £2.5 million. I want that, and that will set me up. And then I probably will still trade because I enjoy it and passionate about it. But I will probably trade I won't trade a mil. I'll probably have $1 million invested, and I've already know people, contacts and stuff, and I know enough about it to potentially do it myself and have a passive income come from that. And when I get to that point, and this is something that really happened the other day, which I was like almost like jumping around and getting excited. This 5-year plan that I'm into, I've still got fucking 3 years left.
I know.
I've got 3 years left, so I'm like, it's definitely like I was a bit apprehensive about it and I didn't quite believe, but then I'm at this point in my journey, and it's a 5-year plan, and I'm almost thinking past that now.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm focused on my 5-year plan, but it's not everything. I've got a 5-year plan. Get to that point, and then I'm gonna look at a different goal.
Yeah.
And then another goal from that. So, but I definitely believe it's gonna happen now, and I didn't before. I did, and I was always telling myself in a repetitive motion, but I 100% believe it's gonna happen now.
You can feel it. I can feel it.
I feel emotional about it. It's gonna happen.
We
It
both
will
know
happen.
stores,
I 100% know it's gonna happen, and I'm like that the other day when I'm 2 years in, and I'm like, I've got 3 years left to do it. It could happen fucking next year. It could happen next year.
One of the
It could
big
happen next
things.
year because I don't potentially because the part of the mantra is, I will achieve this goal, but what I intend to do to achieve this goal is that I plan to trade and profit from financial instruments, save, compound and invest the profits, but also splurge to enjoy my life. And I really have entwined that into my mental sphere, and it is happening because I invest as much as I can. I'm not actually investing anything I'm not making any money from the trading at the moment. I'm obviously making money from the foreign business. I was making a little bit from the trading with my other account, and I invested some of that and spent some of it. But once I have some more money coming in, I don't necessarily need to, if I could make 100 grand next year from trading and invest it, the year after that, it could blow up into 2 mil. It could. Or I could just make it all from trading and just go mental and just be some crazy genius person.
So and you are a crazy genius person, that's what's wonderful about you. So holding the fact that you are a crazy genius person, one of the things about probabilities is that one of the wonderful things about this book that you forced me to listen to.
Sorry about that. You enjoyed it though.
I do, I loved it. And I was like, I had it on in the van and everything. So one of the great things was that, and it's the idea of anything can happen. And it was that lovely one of where that guy said, the analyst said, this and this with the market, that's going to happen. And the bloke got it on the phone and said, sell or buy, 50,000 of these.
Yeah.
And then the analyst went, oh my God, and he said it only takes one person out there in the trading world. And trading world's obviously much
different. Trading and analysing is 2 different things.
Yeah.
But
So
we have to do it. Me personally, because I'm just a freelance trader, I have to do both. I have to be the trader and the analyst because I'm not working for a company where I've got an analyst. But I kind of have because we've kind of got the group, and I do get that
the vibe from them and everything. So,
kind of do get that from Marco and the guys.
But the real thing is the idea, going back to your dream, one of the things I'm always a little bit sceptical about is putting a number on I think a 5-year plan sounds a good idea, but it's about also opening to the possibility that anything can happen. So within that 5 years, it could be 2 years, it could be 2.5 years, it could be 3 years. So it's that allowing that caveat that you can be comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a little. I'm actually really comfortable. I like it.
They are comfy, isn't it? It's quite.
I don't think I like it any more than I like the other room. I feel like I like them the same.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about this, she's got plastic plants, whereas you've got real plants in there.
Yeah, that's it. So that's.
I have a word with her, I say, look, come on.
I did say.
This one,
I said, where's the real ones? So, so coming back, let's come back to that moment of analysing your concept of loss and
Right.
about where you place loss. So in your week, you know your probabilities like over the month.
Yeah.
So you say you're 50-50 at the moment. So how many trades did you do last month?
I'm just going off of I didn't actually look at the month as a whole. I've been trying not to do this as much as well, because what I've been trying to do is I want to try more going forwards anyway, is more look at the profits on the quarter
Oh, nice.
rather than the
Lovely.
month, because anything can happen in a month.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a bit of a mediocre month, but then you could have a really good month, and then you could have a shit month. But then over the quarter, profits. So I think it's better for the mindset, I feel.
Brilliant.
So I looked at the last 20 trades. We can actually look at
Is
them.
it 20
Should I
trades
bring
in
my
a
phone
quarter?
with me? Sorry, it's recording.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So
Okay, well, anyway, you can look at them and look at the sequences of them. And it's like win, then loss, win, loss, like that. But I worked out probably up to now. I've not worked out the last few trades, but I reckon like up to now, from when I started like implementing the strategy like seriously, because obviously last month, the beginning half of the month I'm still learning. So I've only really started implementing this strategy like the last month, like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm only 6 weeks. We need 6 months of this really.
yeah.
But it's exciting because it started working, whereas the month before, there was a lot of discovery trades and things like that, and I'm not really classing them as part of the strategy because
No.
I just broke a lot of rules and I was finding myself with it, as in like lot sizes and things like that, whereas now I'm constantly refining and I'm really like a robot now. I am. So taking from the beginning of last month to where I'm at now, I would say it's probably a 60% win rate.
Okay, so that's a good probability, isn't it?
So what I'm trying to work out with is my edge now. Obviously my analysis, blah, 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 whatever. You know, direct. Base analysis just means what direction do I want to trade in? Or the outcome of that is just which way do I want to trade? That's it. And I'm trying to simplify it. So I just need to pick a fucking direction in the mornings. And the box helps me with that. It's like, and that also sways it, you know. So if it breaks out of like a fake breakout one way, I'll have I probably won't trade it that way. So I'm like, my bias is long, but you know, I don't really want to risk taking that. Sometimes I will, sometimes I will, but that's an intuition thing, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. But anyway, so yeah, about 60% win rate. But my edge is I really want to get those 1 to 2 trades and try and perfect it, which I feel like that's the tricky thing. But I'm getting there with it. Obviously, all the trading, the analysis, and the direction, and blah 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 blah. And what I'm really trying to focus on is the risk management and the risk to reward profile, as in like 1 to 2, because it can vary with spread with the broker, and it does change. The spread does constantly change, but it stabilises in like normal market conditions. But say pre-London, the spread's a bit all over the place, and then so I have to judge that. Like I'll always check the spread before and I calculate that, because sometimes it's 1 pip, sometimes it's 4 pips, and sometimes if my trade is a little bit tight, the range that I'm thinking of trading out of, you know, sometimes these ranges are only like 10 points.
Right.
And if I've got a 4 pip spread, I need to either not take a trade, or you know, I need to allow for that, or sometimes I've left that, and then that's a signal that the trade wasn't ready yet, and then I'll put a box on a little bit later. Say I'll get a box on straight away at 6 in the morning, and it's a tight range, spread's a bit wide. I'll wait till like 7, or if there's some news or something, I'll wait. Like these trades, and what I'm working out is certain trades are better than other trades, but also anything can happen. So I'm just taking them all at the minute and just going for it.
So when anything can happen, where does that come in with you when you're like doing your analysis? Do you kind of like know anything can happen, or feel it? Where is it? If you were going to place it in your physicality, so actually that might be a good one for us to look at. I wonder if you can figure out where you put anything can happen. Is it like right in front of you, or behind you to the side?
I think anything can happen, but then also I'm plugged in with it as well. So anything can happen, and my job is to predict these moves. So anything can happen, and if I embedded that completely in myself, like anything can happen, like literally anything, it's just like nobody knows what's going to happen. Then I just wouldn't even bother analysing. I would just bang a trade on and go for it. Some people do. Whereas I don't 100% believe that, because I think certain things are predictable, and that's our edge, and that's what we're all working towards.
Yes,
And that is
perfect.
the skill.
Yes.
That is the skill to give me my edge, to put the odds more in my favour, because there's certain things that happen more times than others, like these weekly bounces and the fundamentals. I'm not mad on the fundamentals, I am aware of them, and I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with the fundamentals, but I don't like sometimes if a trade's at a certain point and there's some fundamentals out, I'll go with technicals over fundamentals all day long.
Right.
Whereas some people are the other way. Whereas I'm more technical. My strategy is very technical, but also I use the fundamentals in combination with it.
Yeah.
But not all the time. Well, yes, I suppose I do all the time. Say if there's some news out at the beginning of the week that puts it more likely that my pair is going to be going higher, so I want to be buying. I don't necessarily just need to trade that for that day. That gives me a bias for the week, so I just want to buy it all week pretty much.
Yeah.
Or sell it all week, or sell it up until Wednesday, and then that news can change the direction, and then I'm buying again. And I feel like that is kind of a little superpower that I've got going on, because I see a lot of people in the group that get stuck on certain directions, whereas I don't. Yeah. I don't ever get stuck on a direction. I don't even look at the week ahead. I wake up in the morning and I analyse what's going on that day.
Okay, so
which I thought I've never really spoke about this actually. So when people watch this back, they'll be like, "Oh, is that bit reckless?" I don't actually look at my week ahead at all. I just wake up and see what's going on the day, because anything can happen.
Well, so you've embedded it. You embrace it.
Yeah, anything can happen, and some days whereas if I look at the week ahead, it might sway me from trading certain days. I'm like, oh, I'll wait for this to happen at the end of the week. But then if that doesn't happen at the end of the week, then I've wasted the front of the week. Whereas if I wake up every day and look at the markets, and I'll look at the weekly things and stuff like that, and I'll know big events, say like interest rate hikes. I know that's happening, and CPI. I know when that's going to happen. With all the little things, I don't really know. Whereas I think because I've just trained my brain, and most of these big events happen on the same days anyway, so I kind of do look at it, but I don't like to plan my week out from it. I just know at certain points of the month these news events are going to be happening, so I can either trade into them or wait for them, or just, like I say, just wake up each day and just see whether there's a trade. That's it.
So what I hear, Dean, is actually you've assimilated huge amounts of stuff, and you're like assimilating. When you say I don't want to think anything can happen, because I just throw on on a trade, and like do big hikes. But actually, what you've also assimilated is the fact that anything can happen, and you've got the discipline. So you've got a really strong set of self-awareness and self-discipline. So actually, what's happening for you right now feels pretty amazing. So what is it that you think that you need to do or need to focus on? Because I'm aware that you've come such a long way. You're doing consistent winning. 60% trades are wins. That's phenomenal probability. I'm just wondering, when we first started, the losses that you felt were really emotionally quite,
traumatising.
Traumatising.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of function.
Yeah, but actually now what you did was within one day you turned it around on that slippage, and slippage, honest to God, it's like having a 100-year flood, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. So I'm just wondering what it is that you want to focus on to really help pull you forward into the next month.
I'm going to Mexico on Sunday, so I think I am going to trade because I want to keep my mindset on, and it's a perfect place to trade. Why wouldn't I want to trade out there?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I want to trade out there? The time zone's a bit off, but I'm only going for 2 weeks, so I don't necessarily want to keep my time zone on.
Keeps your probabilities up.
Yeah, keep the probabilities up, and I put myself under pressure to pass this by January. And I really want to achieve that, but then I've also accepted now if it takes a little bit longer, it takes a little bit longer. I'm not going to force anything and over risk or anything, but I want to get it passed. I want to get it passed. I want to get it done. I want to get a payout, and I want to keep moving forwards on this journey, you know. So I'm not sure what I need to work on. I think I'm pretty much doing everything I can.
Yeah.
I am doing everything I can. I think.
What about moving?
Take the trades. I think take the trades.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Take the trades because
your probabilities will be
I
become
need to
greater.
take the trades because some of like what I've found is the days when I don't trade, the trades are there.
Well, the other thing as well is if you're
Which
not
is
taking
annoying.
the trades, you're actually reducing your probability. Aren't
Well,
you?
I'm not necessarily reducing the probability, but I'm making it potentially going to take longer.
Absolutely, yeah, that's worth thinking about. And then what about with the other thing is maybe not taking the trades is actually based around fear of loss.
Yeah, I need to work on that. And I need to work on having a more robust mindset. So when I do have a loss, it doesn't skew my thinking, and which I feel like it's not doing because I've had some losses and then I've gone straight on to win. Like I had the slippage trade, which it was last week. It was last Thursday.
Oh, right.
It was last Thursday. Was it last Thursday? What day were we now?
On Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a week ago. Yeah, of course. What's the date today? The 7th.
Yeah.
It was the last of the. It was the end of the month. It was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Whenever it was, it was towards the end of the month, and then I can't remember what happened after that. It was towards the end of the month. I didn't trade, and then I've gone on to have 3 winners after that trade.
And you've been putting them
So
on
bounce
at
back.
0.5%.
Yeah, so I had the slippage trade, didn't trade for a day, and then I bounced back with 3 winners,
Love it.
one after another.
Okay.
And then even if I'd have traded today, that would have been a winner as well because my setup was there.
So let's talk
So I would have took it. It was a perfect setup this morning.
And why didn't you take it, Kim?
I wasn't awake, I didn't look at it. I've had to do some things with the flooring business this morning, so I had some commitments, and I thought I am flying by the seat of my pants a little bit at the moment. As in, like, I'm coming here, I'm going to London in the morning with Lindsay, spending a couple of days with her, and it's meeting up with the guys with Marco and that, all the traders and stuff on Saturday, and then I fly to Mexico Sunday morning, and then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to end on a high here. I probably could have traded today. I didn't want to. I think because there is method. There is definitely a strategy and a method behind this because Nathan that works for me, he needed me to help him with something this morning, so I was meeting him at 7:45 on a job. So I was up and awake, and I didn't really want to be. I wanted to have full focus basically, and I wouldn't have had full focus this morning.
I think that's brilliant though, because what you're doing is actually you're not doing it from an emotive perspective.
No.
You're choosing that not to put on a trade because it's not coming from fear, it's not coming from...
I think part of it is possibly coming from fear, and I'm probably using that as an excuse, but...
Lovely, so what...
I think I've had 3 wins in a row. I don't really want to have a loss. Even though you have to. Even though it wouldn't have been a loss, it would have been a win.
Okay, so now, this is one of the guys said...
Yeah.
This is about...
This is the nitty gritty stuff what I need to work on.
Yeah, I feel as though what's really good for you, what you do really well is you deflect. You come away from so like I say, but listen, what happens is that you're like, yeah, but this is, and you've got really good reasoning for not dealing with the idea of loss. And you're like, oh, I can give you a
Master of
1,000.
deflection.
Yeah, so you're really master of deflection.
It's good for my personal life.
It is excellent, yeah. So, but I'm wondering, in my head, I'm kind of thinking, we spoke really briefly last time about this need to be right. And I wonder...
This is it.
We only touched on it, and then as soon as I started listening to this guy, I thought, here he was within a minute saying need to be right. So...
Yeah, it's like the trade yesterday. I was looking at that thinking, oh, well, if it goes higher on it, like the trade yesterday. I did take a trade yesterday, but then there was another trade which I probably would have been a better trade.
Mm-hmm.
And I did check back at it and just check what it did, and it pissed me off because I was wrong. I was like, I probably won't take that trade. I was wrong and I was right because I was right initially because I should have took the trade.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't take it purely because I'd already had a trade. But if I'd have been more patient and waited for that trade, it would have been a better trade. But that being said,
Are we deflecting?
I don't know.
So
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, so I want to go into this being right. And I think, because that was like the real thing that really, it was like an alarm bell going off for me. So, and my daughter always said to me, Mum, you don't have to always strive to be right all the time.
No.
And it made me think,
Yeah, you can't.
oh my
be
God,
right.
I
It's
deal
just
with
hard.
it. Yeah, I have that personality trait that's hideous, that I feel that and then once I actually step back and think, I don't have to be right. There's a million rights. There's a million different rights outcomes.
Yeah.
It's about that thing of what actually is right. Is winning the only right answer? Or what does it mean for you to not be right about your trades?
This is it, and I'm aware of this.
What does it really mean? What does it really mean?
I'm aware of this, and this is something that he talks about, and it's something that Tom Hogarth talks about as well, isn't it? You know, like the need to be right. It's like a human thing. Like it's like, you know, because of, and it runs deep.
Yeah,
Doesn't it? It runs deep.
yeah.
Back to sort of, you know, how you've been raised.
Yeah.
You know, no, you're a good boy for doing that. This, and it's all that. So I'm aware of that, and I think the only way to change it is being aware of it and keep moving forwards and trying not to. Sometimes I'll delete Trading View off my phone. Like I've had 3 wins in a row. I should be hyped, whereas I'm not. I'm still a bit pissed off that I didn't take that trade yesterday or this morning because I was right, but then I was wrong.
Let's
to
talk
not.
about, yeah, so
I was right because I
Who are you pissed off with?
myself.
You're not pissed off with the traded market?
No, myself more than anything because the market's there. I'm not pissed off with the market at all. The market is
what
almost
does it-
giving me opportunities all the time and
Yeah.
going, hey, take me, and I'm like, no, I've just had a bit of a winning streak. I'm not sure about this.
It's
And then all of a sudden the trade just goes, and then I'm like, fuck, you should have took that trade.
so what
Should
is
have took
it?
that trade. It's hesitation.
Yes, that's one.
But then on a positive note, I did take a trade into the level, so I did actually take a trade.
Yeah.
But it wasn't my usual setup. I should have took a trade off of the weekly, and I think
Okay, so let's
I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I think I did what I did, and the trade did play out. But I feel like taking trades straight off these weeklies is quite a very emotionally complex thing to do because when it hits these weeklies, it's moving quite ferociously
Oh yeah.
and looking like it's going to carry on, but then it just bounces off of them, and you can see it time and time again. So when you do if it doesn't work pretty fast, which is very similar to the box strategy, and I think that's why I like it. But it does take a lot of balls to take them straight off of the weeklies, whereas I do have a rule to just take them straight off the weekly. As soon as it taps that weekly, just put a trade on with a 20 pip stop, and then just ride it. And I have done. I've traded this setup a few, not loads, but a good handful of times. And
So when
I think another thing as well with these weeklies, I think because I've not traded them that often, it's quite fresh in my mind. Whereas the box strategy, I feel like it's easier to trade that because I've had lots of wins.
consistent.
Yeah, whereas the weekly one, it's almost like I say, the market's saying, "Hi, take me," like this is a high probability setup. But then because I'm not took them, many of them, I'm apprehensive. But now I know I need to take. I knew I should have took it. I knew I should have took it and waited.
Can I inject something different?
But I didn't. But I still made profits.
Yeah.
Like going into it,
You've been amazing.
I still made profits. But I'm pissed off because I'm like,
I think I feel I'm hearing. I would like to see if you can, in your language, alter the word should.
okay,
And remove it.
I should take these trades or have to take these trades.
Or I could.
Could. Oh, I
Yeah,
could
it's
take that trade.
possible that I take the trades.
Yeah, that'd make it more relaxed then. That'd be a lot
Yeah.
more relaxing, wouldn't it?
That possibility of taking the trades was there,
Yeah.
and I didn't take them. So it's either you took it or you didn't. So it's, but the should. What?
Itchy forehead.
So should is probably should creates emotion straight away.
Yeah.
It brings in guilt.
Yeah, I should have, and then I feel pissed off about it that I didn't.
Yeah,
Even though I made profits, still kind of on the same kind of move.
So how can you say it without the should?
I could have took that trade, but I didn't, and it's fine.
Well, you don't need it's fine until it's fine. But yeah, I'll just lie to myself. It's absolutely fine.
It's fine. 10 grand.
So I'm just wondering, and the reason I say that is because often I say to people in these sessions, should isn't a good friend to you. Should,
No.
in any situation, I should have got up early. If I'd have got up earlier, that would have maybe perhaps been different. But it's like when we should, and it goes right back to when we were little, Dean, you should have.
Yeah, I've just totally just thought about that. My brain's just gone, just bypassed everything, and I've just had an epiphany moment of what I'm going to do with those levels now. You know, when we said I'm going to let trades run, or I was umming and ahhing on which trade I'm going to let run. I'll just let them ones run, the weekly ones. That's a rule, set rule. I have to take them, and I have to let them run.
And they could be a probability in their own right.
Yeah, so that's almost a different strategy running alongside this strategy. So when it gets to those weekly levels, I have to take the trade. Whether I've even took a trade in the day or not, I feel like that'll work, because that would have worked today. I could have took a trade this morning and took a trade off the weekly and just left it to run. And there's a high probability of getting a real big bounce on those trades. Still risk the same, but let it run. Like if I'd have took that trade, for argument's sake, yesterday, and just let it run into today, it would have been like a 3% trade. And I'm excited about that because I have a rule there now. I'm adopting that rule. That's my rule now. I'm going to set that rule, and I have to take them trades straight off the weekly.
And so
hold them.
And hold them.
Hold them at least for a day, all day, at least all day, or obviously discretionary on how long I hold it for.
Yeah, you because you.
But I have to hold them longer than my other ones, and I think I'm going to go with that, because looking back at them, you can just, if I showed you, you'd be just like money. It's just there. They're just there. It bounces off them so many times.
And if you look back in your...
Not so many times, but I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but it's not every day, but it, like once a week, it will hit these lows and then rebound, or it hit these highs and then rebound. You know, it just does. It just does, not every time, and it's not exact, but obviously you can judge it, but normally like 20 pips or so, you can get a move and then it'll reverse.
And that can give you time as well to minimise risk as well.
Yeah, the risk will still be the same. So I'll manage risk, and that's another thing that we've not really spoke about. That's probably a really good thing to speak about, or just to acknowledge that my risk management is really on point at the minute, and it has been for the last 2 months. I've not veered away from it. Obviously the slippage trade, but my risk was managed at 0.5%.
Yes.
The broker just slipped.
You weren't at 1 or 2% on your own.
No, I didn't. That wasn't me. But the stop was there at 0.5%. It just went straight through my stop, which pissed me off. But yeah, I'm over that.
That's amazing. So the really good thing is that you've got risk management under control.
That's the good stuff.
Can I just check in with you as well about talking about that risk management? And last month, you mentioned that there was another broker who passed the test, and they'd literally done a really risky trade, and they went through the ceiling.
Yes.
And then there was a part of you that was like, I want to do that.
Somebody in the group, I won't name who it was.
No.
But somebody in the group, passed one of the phases in like 2 days or something.
That's it.
And I spoke with Simon about this, and I was speaking about this, and he's a mathematician who used to work for a quant firm, so I respect his opinion. And he quickly, I said it about this, and he disregarded it straight away. It's like, your cat could do that. These are his words.
Yeah.
Anyone could do that.
It's
your
like
cat
a win
can
on
do
the
that.
lottery.
Yeah. So anyone can do that. So I've come to peace. I'm at peace with that actual thing. I still feel it when I see people passing them, but the big test is longevity. It's not. I could put a trade on now and just risk all my profits that I've got and pass it today. I could, but then if I don't, what's that going to do for my mindset?
Well, that's
Not
what
gonna
I
be good.
love is that
It's
your
not gonna be good.
mindset is
And it's going to cost me more money because I'm going to have to buy another challenge.
it's the committed, consistent approach that you have.
Yeah, that is it. And I feel this, and I see people getting funded, and this, and obviously some people are doing good, and that they're being consistent and they're managing risk, whereas some are over risking. And I'm not doing that because I don't feel like these accounts, you're not going to have longevity over risking on that. If you're used to risking like, you know,
brings the
if
euphoria.
you're used to risking like 2% on a trade, you know, it ain't going to end well, I don't. It's just not. Because at some point you're going to get a losing streak and you're risking 2%, you've only got 10% drawdown, you've got 5 trades and you're done. And then you've got to pass it again.
Did you you didn't blow the account last month though, did you? Or did you?
No, not blowing
So
the
that's
account.
cool. So when you look at that,
No, I could have quite easily blown the account. I've just been trickling the profits in, and you know, like I was like 8% down, and now I was like getting close to it. But now I'm like back to like, we're back at like 6% or something down. We're like 6% drawdown or 5% drawdown, something like that.
that's good.
Yeah, so but I'm trying not to focus on that really. I'm not looking. Obviously, it's in the background, and obviously that's where we want to be. And I'm 100% confident I will get that in this mindset, and everything that I'm doing is going towards that.
And doing the weekly ones now feels like, how does it feel?
Yeah, I'm happy about that. To be fair, I'm happy about that. I'm going to set that as a rule that I have to, because then that is a rule then, and I set that rule like yesterday. If that was a rule that I have to do that, I would have took that yesterday. You know, yesterday I was like, I'm not sure. Whereas if I have to, like if it's a rule, then if I don't take it, that's why I'm a bit pissed off that I didn't take it. But it wasn't a set rule. Well, it is a rule, but I've not really solidified it in my mental sphere. Whereas I am now, because that, you know.
Can I also ask you something about letting go?
Go
on. Can I just check in with you about letting go of stuff?
Yeah,
How good are you at that?
When I go to sleep, put a trade on and go to sleep, great.
What about letting go of yesterday? How letting go of the slippage? Letting go. I know that you bring stuff to here to discuss, but I'm wondering about genuine letting go of shit. So, and the reason I'm saying that is because sometimes when we genuinely can't let go, then it feeds into our need to be right, or our feelings of failure, or our inability to move forward. So I'm just wondering about, like, what are you really good at letting go of? What in your life, it doesn't matter about the trading, what in your life are you really good at letting go of?
Am I good at letting go of? Probably girlfriends. No, I've not been that good at it. I've not been that good at it recently. I feel like I've got one at the minute that's just hanging around. Good at letting go. I'm not sure, you know. I don't know.
Do you let go of stuff?
I try to, yes. It doesn't serve me well. Yeah, I've been going to the Buddhist centre quite a bit, and obviously that's about detachment. And
yes.
And obviously, I know we talked about the sleep, but I feel like when I go to sleep, I do let go. I really, when I put a trade on and go back, I feel like I sleep really well. That's
because you've achieved what you had planned to do. So you'd
put a trade on and go to sleep.
The sleep before the trade is probably like, I've got to wait. It's anticipatory.
Yeah, so it is. And then when I've actually got a trade on, which I feel like this is a bit of a superpower, when I've actually got a trade on, I can go to sleep. I'm like,
how long do you sleep?
Like 2 hours maybe, an hour, depending on what time it is. Sometimes if I catch a trade at 6 in the morning, I'll go back to sleep till like 8:30, or sometimes like 9. So I just wake up. If there's news and stuff on, I will obviously wake up and like close before I see where it's at. But some of those hours of sleep have been the best sleep I've had in recent times. I go to sleep and have a dream. I've been going to sleep and having, like, I can't remember now, I've had dreams of like jumping off cliffs and things like that.
Oh yeah.
I had a dream of like jumping off a cliff while I was in a trade, but just like letting go, like not like jumping to my death, like jumping into some water or something.
Yeah. How did that feel when you woke up?
Good, and then wake up to like profits. as well.
So it was like a risk, but it wasn't a deathly risk.
It's a risk to a potential reward.
Yeah.
So I risk going to jump off the cliff into the water and feel really nice.
Have you ever done that
Yeah.
in real life?
Yeah. Yes. I have done this. I have done this in the Seychelles. A real. It was about as high as a house anyway.
Oh my God.
But it wasn't so much. You're like this. At the time, I was going through the trading journey. Then it was still the same kind of thing then, but obviously I'm a lot further on now. This was about a year ago in the Seychelles, and I met these two guys. And we went up into like the rainforest where there was this like secluded like waterfall, but there was like this thing, like a cliff thing, where the kids jump off, and it was high into like. It was quite a biggish thing, but when you're up there, it doesn't look big, and you have to jump into a certain bit, and it was scary. But the scariest part about it, looking back, was the climb up there, because the climb up there was sketchy.
Oh, I love this.
It was sketchy. There was like roots, and the guy was he was not. There was a lot of the history of the place is they speak a bit of French. It's like a Creole kind of language, but it's like obviously the people that are there are from Africa pretty much. This African, I forget his name now, Christoph or something. But he was like, he's like, you need to trust. And you know, like these trees that have got roots growing across the rocks, and I'm like, if I fall here, I'm going to hit all the rocks on the way down. I'm going to really hurt myself. And he's like, you need to trust. And I was holding it. It's like, there's one bit where I literally had to trust this bit of like root to get me up there, and that was probably the scariest thing. Because if that had snapped off, I'd have probably like fell and probably like broke my arm or something, or like potentially died. And then we got up there, we like jumped off.
And then what was it? Was it deep enough? It was obviously.
Yeah, it's well deep. Yeah, it's really deep.
How lovely. Oh, actually, you know what, Dean? I want you to have that. I want you to have that image. Can you see that?
I've got a video of it. I have a video of me doing it.
Well, there you are. So you can actually. I see that as your journey with trading.
Jumping off the cliff into the water.
No, it's also the roots on the way up.
Roots on the way up. Yeah, the roots on the way up. Yeah, trust. You have to trust the roots. It was honestly, it was probably one of the scariest things I've ever done.
Love it.
I was on there. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm here with this guy that's. I've just met on the beach, this African guy. This guy literally just sells like coconuts on the beach, and like, I'll just be friends with him.
Oh my God.
Because he had a bit of weed, and then I was smoking a bit of weed with this guy, drinking like coconuts. Then he's like, hey man, you want coconut, man? I was like, yeah. You want to smoke some weed? I was like, yeah. Just hung out with him for like a few days. It was great.
So that kind of like, and actually in a way you were letting go of a lot of stuff by having trust.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you know, like, because it sounds like you've entered a really different world now. Like, it's so helpful having listened to that book, and it feels like you're in the intuitive stage. You're being consistent and you're being committed.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a little bit of fear of being wrong.
Yeah.
But
what's going wrong? That root could have snapped off.
Yeah. But you
fell to my death.
Yeah.
I would have trust in something that's greater than me, like nature.
And then
which is kind of the market.
Lovely. Yeah, the market is the variables. The wind could have picked up then anything. There's a million things that could have happened. Could have slipped. You could have had a snake, anything, a spider, anything.
Yeah, a spider could have jumped out.
Yeah. And I think, so actually.
That's like the market, isn't it?
Yes. And you are a natural risk taker.
Yeah, I am.
And what you've done is you've harnessed that risk taking.
Had to.
Into your system.
Had to, yeah.
So, like, can we talk about you moving forward to the 2.5 million?
Yeah.
In my head, I'm imagining that you're planning on saving for that 2.5 million, or are you planning on it happening in 1 or 2 big hits?
Well, I look at it all the time and I obsess about it, and obviously I want the place, but me being the risk taker that I am, I think once I have an income stream of more than, I think I need to have like 150 grand a year, maybe 200 grand a year, like that. So next year, say I do a tax return for 200k.
Yeah.
I'm not because I'm self-employed. I might have to do 2 years, but I'll be able to get a mortgage for like $1 million, probably more.
Love it. Okay.
So I'll be able to buy the place, and I've already looked into the mortgages. I think the mortgage, obviously, you have to have quite a biggish deposit to get a certain amount. They want 10%, so if I want
So you're going
so
to
a million-
1.5 million.
1.5 potentially, or build somewhere, or have the money, buy the land. There's so many different options. As in, like, say if I have 400k, I could get the land and then get a 200k or 300k mortgage on it, build a place, and then the place be worth 1.5. Do it that way, or I think it would just, obviously because I haven't got the money at the moment. If I have that kind of money, say like 200-300k, like by the end of next year, then there'll be some different options open for me.
And how are you planning on creating that money? I know that we do the trading.
Yeah, the trading,
But
trading profit and trading and investing.
Okay, so
Saving, compounding, and investing. So I'm pretty much just saving and investing. Any spare cash that I've got, I'm just buying stuff with it, as in like invest, like
at the moment you're doing that.
yeah, like
Oh,
financial
cool.
assets.
Okay.
Just
Right.
buying financial assets, like and the money that I was trading with, I've invested that as well. The money that I was trading with, I've invested, and that's gone up a bit, to be fair.
Brilliant.
So I could potentially take money out of there now and trade with that. Like, I could take 30k out and go back to just trading 30k again, which would be pretty much the same as trading this 400k. But it'd be quite high risk trading it like that, because realistically, so the 400k account, when I get it, it's only really like having 40k because of the 10% drawdown. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
So I have 40k, so I could trade with 40k now, but it'd be quite high risk, and I'm taking it out of where I've invested it as well, which I don't really want to do that. I want to invest on, so that's why I've gone down this funded route, which I feel like is better. I will do it, but I have to do it in the right way, and that's why it's taking a little bit longer. But I'm learning lots. I'm learning along the way, and potentially.
And also, you're emotionally safe this way.
Yeah, a lot safer. Yeah, it is a lot safer. I'm not going to just blow up and like lose all my money.
No.
Which is a good thing, I think. But you have to trade them in a certain way.
Can you imagine if it was your real money?
Yeah, it's a lot easier than trading real money. A lot easier.
How? Because ultimately, you'll be wanting to trade your real money at some point, I'm assuming.
Yes, and I potentially will do that, because let's be honest, these prop firms and these funding companies might not be around forever. There could be some like legislation that comes in that stops them from doing it, because it's not regulated at the moment, and that could come in and they could just they could be not a thing anymore. Whereas I do have a contingency plan for that, and I do have some funds of my own, and I could trade my own funds. So, and I may still do that. Like say if I have a spare 100k, say like middle of next year, because it could happen. It potentially will happen. I could take out 100k out of my investments and just trade that, and I could trade that the same as how 100k will be good, because I could trade 100k and trade 2% risk on 100k, which would be the same as trading this 400k. So it'd be like $2,000 stops for so the risk would be like 0.5% on a 400k, but on 100k's money, I'd be happy trading it like that, because I've got 100k. I've been used to trading with 10% drawdown, which was only 40k. If I've got 100k to play with, I'd be happy to risk 2% on 100k.
Can I throw in?
As long as I think I would be. I'd definitely risk 1%.
Can I chuck in a curveball? And this shows my ignorance of trading, so I have to apologise.
Yes, okay.
What if you had, say, a spare 5k?
Yeah.
And what if you traded your 5k alongside trading this that you've got now?
I have thought about this, but
and the reason I want to ask you that, sorry to interrupt, the reason I'm just checking in with you about this is because it's about creating that emotional resilience.
Yeah.
Because when you come out of what you're doing now, then you say, I'm going to trade 100k of my money.
Yeah.
that may actually genuinely alter your state of mind. Whereas if you have built a reliance and an understanding and a trust in yourself of your own financial,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying 5k just as an arbitrary sum, but
Yeah.
I wonder if it might be a consideration for you to start to bring in. Can you do that? Is that possible?
I could do. It'd just be a little bit tricky in the morning because I can't do the same trades. I'd end up taking 2 trades, and they would be different. They would be different trades because obviously the box strategy is quite what's the word? It's quite a fast-paced, as in, you know, the entries on them. And the entries were, you know, sometimes within a few seconds. So I'd have to be trading 2 accounts like this, which
Be too difficult.
be a bit stressful.
Unless there was some other way that you could consider, and I'm just throwing it in there, Dean,
Yeah.
for you to think of, like, if you're thinking about your weeklies,
Yeah.
maybe if you actually
just
did
trade
your
the weeklies, I
weeklies
thought, yeah.
on your own money.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm asking this is because it's such a different vibe when it is your own.
I don't think it's that different.
It's not?
No.
Okay,
I don't
it's
think it's
cool,
that
because
different.
I'm ignorant.
No, I think some people find it different. It is different, but because the majority of my trading career, I have traded my own money. It's only been these last like 4 months that I've traded a funded account. So before that, I'm used to losing amounts of money. If anything,
You're not going to be losing.
no, if anything, I think I'll be more prepared.
Love it.
And I'll be better and more. I think I'll probably enjoy it more, to be fair, because you've not got all the hurdles to jump over and worrying about 10% drawdown. Wouldn't have to worry about 10% drawdown, and I could still take money out if I want to. As well, you know what I mean? So like, I would do that. Say if I was in drawdown or not, if I've had a profitable month, I can still pay myself. Whereas with this, I can't.
Love it.
If I'm in drawdown on this account, and I'm not even past the evaluation phase yet. Say if I'm in drawdown on the account, but then I do have a profitable month, but I'm still in drawdown, I can't pay myself for that because it's not there.
No.
Whereas in my own account, I could.
Love
I could
it.
say, look, I'm going to pay myself for this month. I am in a bit of drawdown, but I'm going to pay myself for that month, and I've still got the account, and it doesn't really matter. I could be in 10% drawdown overall, but if I'm still getting payouts from it, obviously the idea is to compound, but you don't have to compound every month. You can take some money out. You know. Say if I was in 10% draw, say I made a bit of a mistake, you know, say I had the slippage trade, but overall the month was pretty good, but I finished flat on the month. I can still take some profits out. I'm like, I am still going to take some profits because it was a good month and I can pay myself, but you can't do that with funded accounts.
Love it. Okay, that's cool. And I'm sorry to.
Unless, and something else what I thought about as well. There's one reason why it probably wouldn't be a good idea to do it, but it could also be a very good idea. I know a lot of people are in this funded space are trying to get multiple accounts, which I do want to do that, but then I've also thought, obviously once I pass it, I have 10% drawdown. I could make 10% and just keep 10% in there. So then I've got like 20% drawdown. So I have actually 20%, and then I could still pay myself as and when. I could keep 10% in there, and that's like me having 20. That's like me having 80 grand. That's like me having an 80k account then, because I've got 10% in there.
Nice.
I have 10% drawdown, and I have 10% in the kitty, if you like. So I could trade that, and then. But the only risk with that is if the company goes to shit, they probably won't pay you that. If the company goes bust or whatever, they probably won't pay you that.
Right.
With the money that they owe you, which I've seen that happen with some people.
Okay.
So, one of them.
Now then, I'm aware of time as well.
Okay, what time are we on? We're going on.
We've got that, so we cut about 1:45, and let me see.
I might press pause now if you want to talk about something different.
Yeah, that's great.
Press pause now.
Yeah, press pause. Nice to see everyone.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's gone on for ages. 1 hour and 4.